Hi, I'm Julia from Pain Free Living. I have a great question for you today, and that is, can you shake hands with your feet? Now, I love this question, firstly, because as someone who's really fascinated by fascia, the foundation of the body, why not get better acquainted with the feet? But the other reason is it acts as a powerful diagnostic tool and also a way that you can improve your foundation all at the same time. Why do we want to do this? Let's quickly cover that. Well, there's so many reasons, but let me just cover one of the main ones. And that is, since you're a little toddler and you began to walk, your feet were placed in shoes. The majority of shoes that you will see out there, and especially if you grew up in a time like I did, the shoe box, the toe box at the front of the shoe was actually too narrow for the feet. So it looks nice to have nice slim shoes, but unfortunately the toes got put into a shoe that was too small and they got squished together. And I'm sure that you can imagine over a lifetime of walking in shoes, how that would affect both the growth and development of your toes, but also the foundation, the way you walk, the way you stand. So let's get started. You want to grab one foot and one hand. So I'm going to do my left foot and my right hand. And just a word of warning, we'll be here for a couple of minutes. So if you can't hold yourself up comfortably on the ground, go to a chair, a couch, a bed, whatever you need. And then what we're going to do is with our fingers is slide one finger between each toe and get as many toes as you can in one go. Now you may not get all four, you may just get three, you may get less, doesn't matter. We're just having a little exploration today. That's all we're doing. And then from there, the object is to get those fingers pressed down, touching the webbing of each part of the foot between those toes. And that's it. Can you shake hands with your toes? So how did you go? Try the other foot. Left hand, right foot, slide them in between. It's always good to do both and see if there's a difference. Oh, little bit of tightness on the right side here. I'm not surprised. That's where most of my problems have always been. I've got a little bit of work to do. So yeah, I'm almost there, not as acquainted with the right foot as I am with the left. So let's do a really quick exercise to help create more space between those toes and open them up into a more natural alignment. This is going to affect your foundation and the way the entire body organizes itself on top of that. All you need is your first two fingers or a piece of dowel, maybe a thick wooden spoon, something that's round, it has a nice soft edge that you could place between the toes. So dowel is just from any sort of hardware store. And if you have a really thick wooden spoon for cooking that you feel like giving up for this purpose, then please go do that. The fingers work fantastic though, and I think that they're a great tool to use. They can just get a little tired. So let's start. Now you've got a choice. You can do one foot at a time and really get a sense of how it feels. You can simply pause the video or just go back and do the other side. But to make this like a nice quick exercise that you can do every day, you can actually do 2 feet at a time. So I'm going to sit like this. So you could be leaning up against a couch or similar to fashion to me. And all you're going to do is grab your first two fingers like this, and you're going to place them between the big toe and the second toe. Then you're going to press down and press those toes into the webbing. Now close down the eyes and let's soften the breath. So we want to breathe in and out through the nose and draw the breath all the way into the belly. I'm going to take 3 real deep breaths here, soft as well. And you're feeling the weight of your fingers coming back further into the webbing, creating pressure, maybe a bit of discomfort, potentially even some pain. That is okay. And then what we're going to do is curl those toes over and then work them toward the ground. And if that's enough pressure and pain for you, just keep breathing in this way. If you feel you can go a bit further, I want you to now just pull back your feet with your fingers. So now you're creating resistance in the opposite way. Let's take 5 deep breaths here. Breathing deep into the belly. See if you can exhale a little longer than the inhale. So we're going into a deep state of relaxation and healing. Almost there, 2 breaths to go. Keep pressing in, holding that consistent pressure, and release. You can wriggle those fingers and toes, bring a bit of blood flow back. You might notice how nice it feels for that blood to rush back down to that area. And once you're ready, we'll get the next two fingers and place them between the next two toes, second and third. And again, just close down the eyes and focus on breathing. 3 deep breaths, just pressing those fingers deep into the webbing. It might feel a little bit like you're stretching your skin, and it doesn't feel great, I know, but I can assure you, you're actually working with the fascia here between the toes. And this is going to release the toes a little bit from being bound up, bound together, giving you a little bit more freedom and contact with the ground when you stand and walk. Now working those toes, curl them over, bring them toward the ground. And if you can, pull back those fingers just a touch more, pulling those feet back up. Let's take 5 deep breaths here. If you are following along, working both feet at the same time, it's a great way to tell immediately the difference between the left and right side of the body. That's all information. You can even wriggle those feet a little bit, wriggle the fingers, do a little bit of a dance with your body, create a bit of movement. 2 more breaths here, almost there. Done, and release. Bring some blood flow back. Oh, I can see a lot of light is on the camera. I might be very shiny right now, but you get the idea, hey? So let's go to the second last area. So the third and fourth toe between there. Press down deep, close down the eyes, take 3 breaths. Working the toes toward the ground, curling them over, and you can pull those fingers back in, almost very gently lifting the feet back up. And by now you may have worked out, wow, there's some really tender spots, particularly in some areas more than the others. A good sign to spend a bit more time in that part of the body. Three more breaths, almost there. Well done, release. We'll bring some more blood flow back. So you might be going, oh, now I see why the dowel or the wooden spoon is really handy. It is. However, if you can use your body as a tool, it's a much more intelligent device that can feel deeply and connect better with the body part that you are working on. So let's go to those last 2 toes. We're almost there. Use a different height of your fingers if you need. Press in for 3 deep breaths. Working your way back into the webbing. And starting to curl those toes down and point them toward the ground. Pull back those fingers. Let's take 5 last deep breaths here. So you've just diaphragmatically breathed for a few minutes, which is really wonderful. You might be feeling the effects of that already, a deep relaxation in the body. And you've also created a little bit of change in your fascia system, and never underestimate that when you affect the feet, you affect the whole body. Nearly every part of the body is a window to the rest. And when you work on your fascia, the most miraculous things happen, not just in the area chosen, but all around the whole system. And release. Okay, bring some blood flow back. Yay! Well done. Let's go back to, can you shake hands with your toes? Let's see if you've made any gains. And it's okay if you haven't. You now know how to diagnose and how to work on improving that diagnosis as well. So pressing the fingers deep into the webbing. And let's from here do a couple of nice circles, clockwise and anti-clockwise. How's it feeling? Back and forth. And we'll switch feet over. Whoa, a little bit more gain on the right side. Oh, I can almost fit one more finger. That's good. So a lot of people wear things like spacers when they walk. I don't do that, but you could. It's a great way to create a bit more space between the toes. But nothing beats the intelligence of actually maneuvering and shifting the fascia in there. It creates more of a lasting and permanent change. So let's do some circles clockwise and then back anti-clockwise, back and forth. And all you do from now is jump up, take a few steps around, get a sense of how it feels in the feet. Maybe the toes are a little bit more ignited. Maybe your toes are feeling a little bit more awake, but that is it. If you could do this exercise, it's actually a lot slower without the instruction. It probably should take you about 3 to 4 minutes. Do it a few times over the next couple of days. Try it again in a couple of more days and see if you notice a change in the way that you walk, your gait, the way that you stand and hold yourself. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.